Welcome to the Gary Abbott YouTube channel. This is the question, and I'm just going to, you already read it to get to this video. Can you afford to retire? And I'm taking this from the perspective of, I'm not a financial planner. I'm not telling you how to invest your money. I'm not a stockbroker. I'm not somebody who is giving you advice to get to the stage of ready for retirement, but more of an individual who has done their best to get to the age of retirement when you qualify for Social Security and you say, wow, did I do enough? Did I not do enough? Financially, can I retire? With that, I have made a spreadsheet. Now again, a disclaimer, this is my spreadsheet that I made. I'm willing to share it with you, so if you make it through the video, I tell you how you can get a copy of this spreadsheet. I'm not going to go through every item in the spreadsheet in the sense of describing what you're looking for, but here's how to use it. I'm going to pull it up on my screen. Here comes the spreadsheet that will help guide you, and it does some interesting things. It does some things that you can, your personal situation, you can put the things in and see what it does. So let's just get started. Here's my personal budget retirement years. Disclaimer, none of the numbers are my numbers. I've used fictitious numbers so that way, no matter where you are in retirement and how much money you've got and all of that kind of thing, who cares? But this is how to use it to know what you've got and what you are looking for. And it will tell you things like if you don't have enough money and you may need to continue working for a little while. It may also help you with your planning for a Medicare Advantage plan or a original Medicare. It might help you with all of those things. It did for me. And so I'm also going to even get into taxes, but only a little bit. I'm not an auditor. I'm not a tax accountant. I'm not going to, taxes are variable based on your income. But here we go. You're thinking about retiring this year, next year, the next couple of years, and you've got your plan and you're starting to think about it and worry about, oh, when I stop working, what's going to happen? Here's goes the spreadsheet for you. So the spreadsheet I made adjustments to the spreadsheet, and I'm using the column for January as the column to figure out your overall how much money you've got each month. And this kind of fits with the first two income categories. What's your Social Security amount that you're going to get monthly? If you go to the Social Security website, they're going to give you the monthly amount depending on when you're going to retire. So you can plug that in. That's the first spot. If you have a spouse that's going to get Social Security, or are they going to get half of your rate? Maybe they're at full retirement and they didn't earn enough money, but they still qualify for half of the other. So I put in these amounts. The first amount I put in was $2,000 a month. Now, I recommend you go to the Social Security Administration, get your numbers, get what you think is going to go in there. The next item is retirement funds. I'm going to make an assumption that, and these are off, these are not your numbers, but I did $250,000 you put away in a 401k program or a retirement fund with your company. And when you retire, you probably heard about the 4% rule, where you might be able to take 4% out of your investment fund for having no real big effect that you can live on it for 30 years. That's the concept. I took that for this purpose and I put retirement funds 2 or 3%. I basically said you had $250,000, and because the stock market is horrible at the moment, in 2022 as I filmed this. I said instead of getting 4%, I'm going to get 2%. Well, that's going to be $416. And so that's going to depend, on what your number, and if you want to bump it up to 3% or 4%, that's up to you. Talk to a financial planner how long that's going to last. But I just did 250,000 equals 416 a month that you could take out if you take out 2% annually. So, interest income. I'm assuming that you might have some cash. Maybe you sold a house. Maybe you have some money that you put aside. I said the same $250,000. Now, you may not. A lot of people might not have $250,000, but you may have a house that you may sell later and downsize. You may end up with cash. It may be part of your plan. So I put interest income. Right now, you can get 4% interest on your cash. And so that's really double the 2%. I'm using the same 250,000 that you have in cash, or it's part of your home sale income, downsizing that you might get. Maybe you don't have this item. Maybe you don't include it. The next one, and it's a very simple one. You either have a little side business or you have a pension and you're getting money from your pension. So let's just put in there, I have a pension and I'm going to get $400. Oh, a little too many zeros there. I'm going to get $400 from my pension. You would know this. Other income, part-time job. Maybe if you come out short at the end of this, you might say, I need a part-time job. Maybe this helps you decide that you need to continue working. So as we scroll through this budget, this next category is a little unique. You have your income. You probably need an emergency fund. You could transfer it to savings if you're looking to try to boost your cash. The category that I really added here, that is the one that I think you should do. If you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, you have a lot of potential out-of-pocket costs. If you go to the hospital, go to the doctor, you have the potential of some really big out-of-pocket on a Medicare Advantage plan. I think you should estimate what those out-of-pocket costs could be. I think if you've chosen the Medicare Advantage, you should plug in a number of what you might be prepared for, or put enough in your emergency fund to cover those times in which you're going to have a medical need. And those are going to come up in retirement. I mean, it's almost a sure thing that'll come up. But how frequently, whether you pick that. And I'm picking on Medicare Advantage because they have no monthly fees or very low monthly fees. At one time they had low monthly fees and then they went to zero. But they do have a lot of out-of-pocket costs. And I think you should plan on it. And so I think using this savings section, and I've highlighted the out-of-pocket healthcare estimate. Do that. Take what you think you're going to spend over a year of out-of-pocket, divide it by 12, put a number in there. I'm not, but this is the big thing in that area. Home, mortgage, rent. If you have a house and you've paid it off, then it would be zero. If you downsize but decide to take a mortgage, this is where the cash comes in. I'm going to do this as an example. Say you have a mortgage of $1,000. That's what you have as a mortgage. You plug that in. But this might be the opportunity where maybe you have a mortgage, but you have decided, that I don't have $250,000 in cash. I only have $50,000. Well, on that investment for CDs, it's going to drop. You can divide that number by 5. You could get an idea of what 50,000 at 4% is going to get you. I got my calculator. So, if you have $50,000 times 0.04 equals divided by 12. I know I'm going really fast, but you would change that. You would no longer have 833 coming in. You would have 167. And you can imagine what this does is it changes your income and expenses. Now, I don't really want to focus on it at the moment, but say you had only $50,000 in cash, but you had a mortgage. If you had a mortgage of $1,000, there's your number. If you don't have a mortgage, so this is where you can use this to pay off your mortgage. You can actually, if you have cash, but you decide to use the cash to pay off the mortgage. So really, here's what I did is I took the $200,000 off, so this could be 0. I'm going to do this again. The cash, you only have $50,000, but you've paid off your mortgage. If you had $250 and your mortgage was $200, you've saved it. If you put this back to the $833, you had $250,000 in cash, but you decided to live with a mortgage of $1,000, you could play that scenario. You could play that scenario of whether it's better to have the cash or whether it's better not to have the house payment, the mortgage payment. And that's clearly something you can do with this spreadsheet that I haven't seen elsewhere. I think it will help you make that determination. So right now I'm keeping the $250 in cash, and I also have already paid off the mortgage. But that may not be the case, so you could plug the numbers in. The rest of these numbers I'm going to go really quick. Home insurance, electricity, gas, water, sewer, trash, HOA, cable, telephone bill. You can put it all in. The last item in this home category is I did include IRS taxes and what bracket you're in. And I put a footnote down here. Now you can look it up on the internet. It'll give you an idea of what your taxes are. For a married couple, down here is the footnote. You can quickly see that you're in the 12% bracket. And you can do this excess calculation based on your income that you get. So in the beginning, you would basically leave this blank, the tax bracket. But based on your income, you could do a mathematical check of what it is and plug in that number of your tax liability. So if you end up coming up that you're going to earn $5,249, that's going to translate. It's going to translate 5,249 times it by 12 months. You're going to have $62,000. Well, if you go down to the footnote, you're definitely less than 83,000, so you don't jump up to the 22% tax category. You're in the 12. You can do this calculation to get what your tax liability is going to be. And so you take the 62, you can minus it from the 20,550. I know this is a little my wife does not like this section. She says it's overcomplicated. But you could figure out what your tax liability, 12% of the 62, let's just do that. If you were $7,000 a year divided by 12, $629. Now we know you're going to have deductions and the rest. I did a quick calculation here. I ended up at $547, about $100 less. that's probably in the ballpark of you're earning $50,000 instead of $60,000. So you can do that calculation and put a number in there. You will be better prepared when tax season comes, and you will have the money that you have already figured out what you put aside for paying the IRS, because you are earning money. Your money's taxable, especially coming out of a 401k or interest income. It's taxable. You could always hire a tax accountant to help you with your tax portion. But I put a liability in here because you need to look at it. It's one of the areas most people miss. Transportation, car payments, auto insurance, fuel. Get out your numbers, look at your registrations, fill those numbers in. Groceries. Groceries is a huge problem right now with skyrocketing inflation, and groceries are definitely going up. But plug in the numbers of what you think it costs per month and how much you're going to spend dining out, clothing, pet supplies, all those kind of things. Then there's this entertainment category, and you can play with the titles. Do you go out to concerts or sporting events? Do you actually play in a club that you have to pay a fee? Good place to put that kind of information. We're back to health insurance as the next category. If you decide to go with original Medicare with supplements to reduce your out-of-pocket that we talked about before, here's the spot to put the health insurance. Depending on what supplemental plans, if you pick Plan G to go along with your Medicare, you can get a really good monthly, you're going to have the monthly number. Now, you could have it taken out of your income. If you have it taken out of your income, then you just remove it here and run with the real income of the net of their Social Security minus this. Or if you pay it on your own, if you're a couple, you got to multiply it by 2 if you're paying it for both. So plug in that health insurance number. It's really insurance premiums that you want here. I also put in gym membership, prescriptions. You might have an idea of what you're going to pay for prescriptions that your insurance is not going to pay. Plug those in. Vacation, plug in what you think you're going to do for trips. If you're going to go to Europe and you're going to go on a boat cruise and you're going to go cruising, this is a place to fill in the numbers. I put very little bit in here, but you need to. I put just minimal numbers. I'm one of those guys who likes to travel the country in an RV, but this is not my total cost for the trip. It's 1 month allocation in the year of how much I plan. So again, this spreadsheet is made to go out all 12 months if you want. I've basically used it for column number 1 to be what it's going to look like when I finish. So if you look at this simple one that I've just done, you can go to this summary at the top. And the summary at the top tells you, okay, we're putting in all of my income, what I anticipate I'm going to use without using a lot of my either cash on hand or my IRA fund. I can take out about $5,249 a month as a couple. If you're single, those numbers would be different. I can throw about $100 in savings from my emergency fund. All the expenses I've listed are equal to $4,454, which leave me with $695 extra a month retired. Now, that may change. If you have a mortgage of $600, then it's going to be $95. It's going to be much closer. But I think this gets you over the hurdle of, can I afford to retire? You got to plug these numbers in. You got to put in the tax number. You got to put in some of this healthcare information. You've got to put in how you plan to save or be prepared for out-of-pocket expenses. You might even want to make sure that your emergency fund has enough for when you have house maintenance issues that you need to pay for. I think this is a great planning tool. And so I made this spreadsheet myself. It probably has some flaws. I'm sure in planners and others that do this work for people get into it much more of the strategy of your investment fund and all of those kind of things. I didn't do that. I just wanted to see, can I make it if I retire based on what I have? Because a lot of people, they work hard all of their lifetime. They put what they can away. They do as much as they can, and then you get to that retirement age, and it's scary. But if your numbers turn negative, your lifestyle and this may be a good tool to find out, okay, I need to work a part-time job while retired. I need some other income. Just keep in mind, the more income, the bigger the tax bracket, the more you need. It's a cycle. So keep that in mind. A lot of people learn that they don't need as much as they had before. Their bills kind of go down. But there's so much to retirement that I'm just trying to go, how can I help people who are just trying to make that choice of, I want to retire, can I do it? And have I looked at everything? Am I going to sell my house and downsize? Does that give me some extra cash? What is my plan? Or is my plan to live in my current house, fully paid off, but what's the tax bill? I have encompassed in here property taxes. If you know what your property taxes are, make sure that's in there. That is a number that, you take your annual property tax divided by 12, you get your monthly rate. So I'm trying to cover everything. And for me, it's a great tool. If you're interested in getting this, in the description below, I'm going to put my email. Just email me that you would like to get the Excel spreadsheet so you can give it a shot at figuring out how you are going to be set. And I'm willing to give it to you. So there's no catches, but the one thing I would really like is if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. But look in the description below. I put my email in there, and I'm willing to email this spreadsheet out to you so you can plug in your numbers and get and answer that bigger question. Can I really afford to retire? Again, thanks for watching. I hope you found this information useful. And again, I love it when you subscribe. Whether you like the video or not, subscribe. Thanks.